Hello, happy Friday, guy. This is my interview with the great Natasha Jonas. Hi, Natasha, you're good. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Um, just so your background in boxing. Originally, from my understanding, you actually going to be a professional footballer. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was trying.
What made you
I was
stop
always.
and what made you take boxing?
It was a. I had a tore me ligament in my knee, and they
Okay,
basically I was on a scholarship in America, and they said like we're talking, a long time ago, and they said like you wouldn't play football again, and because I didn't really go there for the academic side, I decided to come home after that. I took up boxing.
okay. What gym did you join? Did you join a boxing gym? How did you actually get into boxing?
Yeah, it was just so basically. Sylvia Singleton was my first ever coach. She was from the Rotunda ABC. And I used to just go to my uncle's gym and just train myself, which is a karate gym, but it's got like, a few weights, a bag, and whatever pads. And used to see me going in, and she was like, "Oh, stop training by yourself. Come to the local boxing gym, which was the Rotunda." And she bugged me that much that I eventually ended up going, and that's where it all started 17 years ago now.
Because it's been quite unique for yourself because there are boxers in Liverpool. Obviously, the Tony Bellew, the great John Conte. There's lots, Robin, a lot of boxers from Merseyside, but there's never been a female boxer of notice from your from Liverpool specifically. So, how did you feel being the first female boxer from Liverpool to be, to actually get some attraction?
I suppose for me, like obviously playing footy and stuff, I've never really I've never really felt out of place with lads.
Okay,
So it was a bit daunting going into the gym the first time, just because it was a little bit of the unknown, and it was a bit like when a girl goes to, like, when I went to my first ever played
uh,
with the lads footy around the corner, like, you can't just be an average player. If you're a girl playing with lads, you have to be better than the
yeah,
lads.
this
And
is good.
and
Well,
and for the first few times you go, you're the last one picked because you're a girl and they don't expect you to be able to play well. And when I went to the boxing gym, I thought that's what it'd be like again. Like, oh, she's a girl. She's the only one, and
yeah.
it literally wasn't. And I was very lucky that I was gelled
How
with
did your family
the
take it when you
lads.
decided that I'm unfortunately, guys, I'm not doing football due to my injury. I'm going to take boxing. What do your family feel about it? You entered in, the
You know
wonderful
what?
world of boxing.
I think my mum said on an interview once that if I would have came home and said, "Mum, I think I'm going to be, a ballerina or a dancer or, something like that," she'd have been more shocked than me saying
Really?
I want to be a boxer. So I've always I love I love most sports, and contact, non-contact, whatever. I do watch a lot of sports. I do, um, like I participated in loads growing up. Um, but they genuinely, the ones that I love tend to be like more male dominated, dominated like the football and stuff. So for
Okay.
me to say boxing, I'd done karate, I'd done a bit of Thai boxing, so it wasn't brand new that it wasn't like just I want to do boxing and I'd never punched before. I'd done, everyone in our whole family's done karate because my uncle has got his own karate gym, like I said. So
Okay.
we all go feeding through the karate and then we move on to whatever sport we want. But um yeah, so it was just like one of them things that she wasn't really shocked by. I don't think anyone was.
Okay. So you've always been a tomboy since a little girl. You've always been into more male dominated sports. You've always been around the boys. So this is nothing new to yourself. The whole because your uncle has his own karate dojo. So this combat sports thing was never new to you. Just something like you picked up and you happened to be good at. You took it further. Okay.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was just at the time, like, I'd come back from America. I had big plans of being a female superstar, soccer player, as they called it.
Absolutely.
And uh, it didn't happen. So I was a little bit depressed. Now looking back, I realised that I was a little bit depressed. And,
Yeah, I do. I believe
doing.
in. Yeah, in life, if it's not meant to be, not meant to be. Everything happens for a reason. I definitely believe in that. If it's meant to happen, it'll happen. If not, it will happen, and you'll do something that's more into your lane.
Yeah, and like I got into doing, mad stuff that I just didn't need to be doing, and getting into a rut. So boxing was just a way to do something positive, and I put on a lot of weight because I didn't do sports for a year because of my injury and whatever, and I'd lost a whole group of friends because I didn't play any sports anymore. People don't realize how social sports is. It's not just, look at your local David Lloyd. It's not just
Yeah,
you go in the gym. It's the people that you meet there. I sit in the sauna with people
yeah, the
for,
long
for
lasting
ages,
relationships
you know,
you meet
and
some
you
good
see the
friends
same
in
people.
sports,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
And how did you feel when you started winning some medals? Because you had a great amateur career as well before you became pro. You went to the World Championships back in 2012. How did you when you started becoming a good amateur? Is that when you said, "This is my calling in life. This is what I want to be. I want to be a professional boxer"? When did you
I
know that
didn't.
I want to be world champion? This is my destiny.
I didn't. For at the time when I started, it wasn't anywhere as big as it is now. And I think for most females, getting on the England squad was as big as it could get. And then they decided in 2000 there was talks in 2009, but they actually gave the decision in 2010 that it'd be in the Olympics for the first time. And that's when I realized that I could potentially be part of this team and take it seriously, and it'd be uh, I wouldn't say a career because I didn't realize we'd get the funding and all that to go with it, but I knew it was more than just a hobby.
Okay, a hobby. And how did you feel when you got that calling card? Yeah, I've made it to Olympics. You're the first female boxer. Is it from Britain that actually went to the Olympics, 2012 Olympics? Was it you or there was it was Adam they call Adams as well. How did you feel
it
when you
was
went
it
to the
was me,
2012 Olympics?
Nikki, and Sav that had qualified. So all three of us, we'd qualified. Us and Russia was the only teams that had qualified our boxers outright, and then yeah, we went. We went to London 2012.
How's that experience though, the whole Olympics? Because that's the pinnacle of amateur boxing, reaching the Olympics. How did you feel? Was and this is boxing, this is my, chance to prove myself to the entire world that this, I'm here to become a future world champion.
Well, I think for us, don't get me wrong, the Olympics was amazing, and it's hard. People always say how was it, and it's hard to put in words because there literally is nothing else to compare it to.
Okay.
We'd never had a major competition at home before, and we have the biggest competition to an amateur
Okay.
in the amateur sport. So everywhere we go in the world, the whole world hates Britain, everyone's booing you. And then we go to the Olympics and 99% of the people there are cheering for you. So it was crazy. And every time, you'd go to the Europeans, you'd go to the world, everything didn't matter once you'd qualified to the Olympics. It was all about the Olympics then. But at the same time, we'd had a journey just to even get there. In the 2012 Olympics, we only had one qualifier, so we had to go to the World Championships. Obviously, it's the first ever Olympics for females, so there's more countries that have turned up than ever before. There's more participants than there's ever been before, and they kind of changed the way you had to qualify. You had to qualify in your region. So I went there thinking, yeah, I'm definitely top 8 in the world, and they was like, no, well, what you actually have to do is come top 3 in Europe. And look at the Ochagava, Taylor, Ingrid Egner, there was Tata Gulson, there was just loads of females from Europe that was brilliant. Estelle Marcelli, or Joker as she's known now. So it was people only ever see the Olympics and think, oh yeah, that's the one. But we have actually had World Championships, Europeans, and everything before that. But that got to that moment.
And you tried, but unfortunately, you came across against Katie Taylor, who turns out to be, if not one, probably the greatest female fighter definitely come out of Europe. So what was it like her fighting her in the Olympics? The great Katie Taylor.
Um, I mean, I think she's always had an aura about her. When I first started, I remember she was like the Lomachenko of female boxing.
Yeah.
I remember going to the Europeans in Liverpool for the lads once, And all the lads were saying, you've got to watch this Lomachenko, you've got to watch this Ukrainian. And I was like, okay, I'll watch him. And he was brilliant. And but everyone that was there stopped to watch him. And that was the same with Katie. Like, she had that thing where when Katie's on in the second half, so we'll come and watch it. And that's what everyone's done. But you know, when she's an opponent, she's just an opponent. She's just another female. So.
And this might sound interesting question. If it was anyone else you fought in Olympics, do you reckon you at least won a medal? If not Katie, do you reckon you would have won it if it wasn't for her per se? Because she's that
I think,
good.
if I'm totally honest, I do honestly believe that she was the only person in the tournament that could have beat me, and it's just unfortunate that I drew her. I think everyone else, I was able to beat, and Pete Taylor actually said, I don't know if it was in an interview or something, that they'd had eyes on me because they believed I was the most improved boxer on the run up to that.
Absolutely. Experience definitely once in a life opportunity, and she definitely proved herself. She's undisputed champion and definitely the best female fighter in the world. Anyways, between her and Savannah Marshall, in my opinion, and obviously Kirsty Shields, those three. But interest after you won the medal back in 2014 at the World Championships. I believe you won at the Budapest European Championships. You won a silver medal. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But what made you your career is a bit different after usually a lot of boxers after the amateur record is, you know, once they finish amateur career they go to professionals, but you took a long hiatus. You worked for the Liverpool Council as a teacher, or was it like a ambassador for
a youth worker, and I've worked for them on the Liverpool Council had a sponsorship for athletes. So you could have a job within the council that went alongside your training. I don't even think they've got the program anymore. I was fortunate to be one of the last athletes to have it. So you could have a council paid job alongside your training, and so I was already a youth worker, part-time youth worker for the council, but I actually got a job on the phones for the helpline kind of thing.
Okay, and what made you take a break from boxing and focus on more of a conventional job? What made you start going pro immediately? What made you take a break and, you know, try something different?
So what happened was, in the Commonwealth Games, I snapped 2 ligaments in my toe in my fight, and basically with the rehab and everything that I need, the rehab and getting over the injury, I wouldn't have been able to go to the qualifiers for Rio.
Okay.
And I knew I never had any intentions of ever staying for Tokyo. So if I didn't make the Rio qualifications, then there was no point in staying around. So I decided to retire after that. And after that, I was working for Sky, doing stuff in schools. I was working for Dame Kelly Holmes. I was working for other projects, just going into schools and working with youth groups, as well as I had a little girl as well in that time out. And then and I came back. I think it was 2015.
Okay. So what made you because you started boxing when you was it 32, 33 back in 2017? That was your first professional fighter?
Yeah. I was. Thanks for bringing me a joke.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's okay. So 2017 it was. It was just as good as my amateur career was. There was something. Maybe it was an Olympic medal that I feel like I deserved that I didn't get. So there was something always like that ate away at me a little bit, that I didn't achieve what I wanted. So I came back in the pros, and I was thinking, right, if I get a world title, that'll be enough for me to be saying, right, I've done what I needed to do in boxing.
Okay, so basically it was injury as well as other things. So basically you felt like amateur wasn't complete, or at least winning a medal. So you felt like if you won a medal, then that would probably end your amateur career. That would prepare you. That would make you feel completely ready for the professional, you know, ranks and leagues. Okay.
Yeah. No, not that it'd make me ready for the professional ranks. I went into the professional ranks because I didn't get that. I don't feel like I got closure with the the amateurs in boxing. Like, it was kind of taken away from me a little bit with the injury and, you know, whatever else. And I still feel like I had more to give and more to prove. And
Okay.
I just didn't get to do that. But at the same time, I didn't want to stay, because people don't realize how hard that like they call them amateurs, but like, you are full-time athlete. You know, you're training away from home 5 days a week. You know,
Yeah,
you come home
definitely.
at weekends, and then
You have to
you
be
plan
100% an athlete all the time. Amateurs, you have to be an athlete.
you
You
have to
can't be
be
a part
within
timer.
3% of your weight. So you're a 60-kilo boxer, you can't be above, you're a lightweight, 60 kilos in the amateurs. You can't be anything above 63 kilos, and you're training 2-3 times a day, 5 days, 4 days a week. You know, you're out in a different country like once a month for whatever tournament. You're competing constantly with people in your own country, trying to be the one person selected to go to that competition. So you never have downtime. You get like 2 weeks off. I think you get a week off or 2 weeks off in the summer and 2 weeks off at Christmas, and that's it. Like, boxing's not one of them sports where you have a on and an off season. It's just constant. And especially in the amateurs, it's just constant. So, like, it's mentally tough to keep yourself at your peak all the time.
That's it.
So
Right. And as you get older,
mm,
your metabolism slows down. So it's not as easy to come down the weight and make those weights, those lower weights when you get older.
yeah, and obviously, like, women, you know, you have that time of the month and they get a little bit heavy and whatever. But it's just tough. It's just meant your body can do anything it wants if your brain's with it, and it's hard to keep your brain with it all the time. You can't always be 100%, and to be on GB, you have to.
So when you finally made your debut as a pro in 2017, how did you feel when you actually made your became a professional boxer? And how was the initial fights? Do you feel this is a piece of cake? How do you feel when you finally took
No, I think I was a bit nervous because, you know, you do see comments, you know, oh, she's come back, she's 32, isn't she a bit old, you know, has she still got it? She had a great amateur career, why does she want to ruin like her legacy and on all these things? And it's hard not to take that on board. I seen the likes of Savannah have her debut, I seen Nikki Adams have hers, I seen Katie have hers, and it was, you know, they they did very well. And so I felt like I didn't feel pressured from anyone else. I put a lot of pressure on myself because I wanted to do well. Because everyone on the debut wants to impress. That's what it's for. That you're there, and you know, you're a spectacle. But at the same time, you open yourself to comments and criticism as well.
you had a good start. You had 6 fights and a couple TKOs, but unfortunately, you had your first defeat back in 2018 against the Brazilian, is it Vivian Obanov?
Open yeah.
What caused that defeat? Was this she was a better fighter? Do you think you came underprepared?
No, nothing like that. I just think it was just one of them things. Like, it happens in boxing all the time. It was just, she had one shot in the locker that we actually trained for. I didn't listen. I
Wow,
got hit with and because I got hit with it, I was so frustrated with myself that I reacted emotionally. And you can't do that in boxing because, you
no,
know,
you can't.
where you're fighting with your emotions, you kind of lose your senses about you, as in, like, you can't, like, your boxing sense and your boxing skills, and it didn't work out well for me. So
Okay. But that's boxing, you win some, lose some. Like, it's not about losing in boxing, but how you overcome your loss and how do you bounce back, in my opinion. What makes you a great fighter. All the best, a lot of great fighters lose, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Sugar Leonard, Robinson, they all lost, but because they lost to great opponents and because they overcome their defeats, that's what made them, legacy fighters.
yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, because I think a lot of issue with boxing nowadays. Everybody wants to be in the Mayweather. Everybody wants to be undefeated and protected. Oh, they're not ready to take risks. Everybody wants to be the next Floyd and undefeated. But you got to stand is you're gonna lose fights because you're gonna cost better fighters. You're gonna maybe be underprepared. You know, you're gonna lose. You know, majority of people lose. This is how boxing is.
I know, and to be fair, like I think sometimes
Hello, okay.
someone,
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hold on.
yeah, sorry, someone was trying to phone me.
Okay.
I think sometimes the O can become a bit of a burden, and you're so focused on not necessarily not losing, but you just want to protect that O on your record, that it becomes another, I don't know, another
I
what am I
call it.
trying
I
to say?
call it. I call it the Mayweather curse. The obsession with being undefeated nowadays. I call it the Mayweather curse because Floyd Mayweather has so much success to be an undefeated fighter. Everybody's trying to copy that format of being undefeated and trying to because if I'm undefeated if I get at my O, then I'll be next Mayweather. I'll be making hundreds of $1 millions in career. I'll be
Yeah,
wealth in the hundred.
work like that. I mean, and it's so hard because from an athlete point of view, um, I know that I'm a big risk for people with no reward. So like you can fight me, and if I win, you're not going to get anything from it. I just get a win on my record, and you're not going to get. But so people are very hesitant to actually to box me because they're not going to get anything from me. Whereas and that makes it hard to make fights, even for people that haven't got titles, or when they've got the O, and I'm saying okay, let us fight. It doesn't always happen because people don't want to fight. People don't want to lose it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, yeah, fortunately, that's what the reason why I like UFC. Because UFC they fight the best fighters fight the best all the time, and they all lose, but because they fight the best, then their fans are so loyal because they're fighting the best all the time. Even though they might lose a couple of times, but still fighting the best competition, and they'll still the fans will still support them no matter what.
Yeah.
In regards to your relationship with Joe Gallagher, how did that come about? Yeah, how did you and Joe Gallagher meet? How did you, choose him to be your manager as well as your coach? How did that whole relationship, develop and plan out?
He's actually just my coach, managers as MTK.
Okay.
But I've always known Joe. I've always known him from when he's trained Paul to Stephen to Liam, and I used to go to a lot of their fights. Obviously, they're from the Rotunda too, so I followed their professional journeys when they turned pro. And we had a good relationship. We'd always say hello and stuff. And he used to bring Callum when Callum first turned over to spar Carl Froch when I was still on GB, so we'd talk then. And obviously, when you turn professional, the two things, the first thing you've got to get as a manager, and the second thing you've got to get as a trainer. And because I had that, I wanted, I had a list of about 4 trainers who I thought were the best trainers in Britain. And some of them were based in London, which I had a little girl that was a no-go, because I'm a mum first before I'm anything else. There was obviously Rob, but I thought if I was going to be in Sheffield, which is where he's based, then I may as well just be on GB, which I didn't want to do. So that kind of took Rob out the question. So then Joe was obviously on the list as well. So I sent him a message, and he was away training with a training camp with the lads, and he said, I'll message you when I get back. And he did, and he said, come and have a little trial. We'll see if you fit into our gym. We'll see if we can, you fit in with me, and I fit in with you, and then we'll take it from there. And I went and did the trial, and I really enjoyed it. It's got me spark back, I think, for boxing. So I stayed.
And what's it like as a trainer? What's it like as a trainer? Is he very straightforward? Is he very strict? How's that relationship, between you and Joe?
He's strict. Joe's very good at, I say, man management, but obviously I'm a woman, but he knows you as the boxer. So sometimes he'll know some, like, the way he talks to me is not the way that he talks to Callum Johnson, is not the way that he speaks to Jose Burton, is not the way that he speaks to Callum Thompson. So it's he knows his boxers, and you know, he knows, like, he knows if I've said, Joe, I'm tired, that I'm tired, because he knows I don't tend to lie. But then he knows sometimes, like, when I need pushing, that he'll push me. Do you know what I mean? So
Okay.
he just knows you. He does. I think he's very, very he's very hearty, as in, like, he just wants what's best for you. And I know
Okay.
that doesn't always go down well with promoters, but he's doing what's best for his fighters, not what's best for the promoters, which I don't
Yeah,
think
I was about to
sometimes.
say that's a
Yeah,
good point there, because I was going to ask the whole, because from all those interviews on IFL TV, you see there's a lot of restriction between him and Eddie. You don't think that
yeah.
the whole friction between Joe Gallagher and Eddie Hearn, in that way, did that unfortunately have an effect on your relationship between yourself and Eddie? Because I felt that as a fighter, when you were matching, I felt like you were massive under you. You weren't fighting as regularly as you should have when you were under Matchroom banner.
Possibly. I was never, apart from the first 5 fights, after that, I was never a matchroom fighter. So I was always brought in. The Harper fight, I was brought in as I was a B-side fighter to fight Eddie. The same with Katie Taylor, I was brought in to fight Katie. So I was never a matchroom fighter after them first 5. So, yeah, like, could I have got more fights with Eddie? Possibly, but, you know, it everything that I turned down for my own reasons, and to be honest, it worked out well for me. So,
Okay.
like,
Did you
like
may I ask, was there any reason why you never offered a Terra Harper rematch? Because I think you clearly won it. It was a good fight of the year, but you definitely you definitely should have won that fight, and I think you deserved the rematch. Was there any reason why you couldn't get the rematch with, Terry?
well, it was said at the time that we would have an instant rematch, and everything was promised there and then on camera, and for everybody to hear and see. But then after the fact, um, like, the offers that were coming in, I believe I was still being undervalued, and the rematch was never instant. It was going to be fight this one, fight that one. Then if you come through them 2, then you'll get to fight Terry. So I didn't believe that that's what was said. So I declined that deal because I just thought it was going to take too long.
Okay.
Like, you obviously I wasn't the home fighter, like I said, so they was giving her time to, bounce back, and giving me like a mediocre route, but eventually I'd get here. So I thought they're either waiting for me to go too old, or they're waiting for me to, I don't know what they were waiting for, but it wasn't, I don't think it was the best thing for me. And I ended up out the ring for nearly another year. And then I fought Katie, which was probably to date still one of my best performances,
Yeah,
despite
definitely,
that losing. So,
definitely. I may
and
ask. I know this might be a bit personal. May I ask, how can you never fought after the Katie Taylor fight? How can you never fought again? Because apparently Eddie offered you a few fights, but because you turned them down, and Eddie was happy with you were happy with the opponent. Eddie was happy with the opponent that you were choosing, you and Joe. That he decided to forget it. Let's call it a day.
listen, do you know what? I don't even want to talk about this. I don't want to get
Okay.
any, like, to be fair, for me now, it's all in the past, because for what it is, I've chosen what's best for me, my career, my family. So I don't even want to go into that whole scenario. But, like, what was said was never the case, because the opponents that was fine for fight camp all of a sudden weren't fine for Liverpool. And when I was supposed to sign a deal with Matchroom, all them opponents were okay. But when I declined the deal, all of a sudden, because I still had one fight left, all of a sudden they weren't good enough. So, and obviously now I've moved on. So it was Eddie being a business person. Obviously, I declined the deal. He wasn't happy about it. But like I said, I chose what was best for me and
Is it
my
fair to
family.
say, you sort of hop on a bit much about Eddie Hearn? For my analysis about Eddie and Frank and different promotes in boxing, I think some boxers are good with Eddie, some boxers are better with Frank and other people. I think if you're great self-promotive, like Eddie Bridges or Johnny Fish, if you're really established or you're a great talker, you're very, eccentric on the microphones and the media, you do well with Eddie. If you're very quiet, if you're not the best talker or you're not very established, probably maybe sign with Frank Warren or NEC or sport promoter. I think certain fights will do well with Eddie, certain fights don't do so well with Eddie. That's in my perspective.
Yeah, I suppose so. But you had a lot of publicity because of the platform of Sky, but now he doesn't have that. So he's still a very good promoter. He still is going to make champions. He's still,
Yeah, absolutely.
Matchroom boxing isn't going anywhere. So
Yeah, definitely. Also reckon with, definitely.
So, he's still going to do all them things, but I forgot the question, to be honest. I don't think there's a particular style that fits all. I think Frank's done really well in taking maybe not the Olympians, but the ABA champions, and he's pushed them down a different route, and now they're as good as them Olympians when they were there. It took them a
Yeah,
bit longer,
definitely.
maybe a little bit of a harder route, but they're just as good. Eddie is obviously, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it is what it is with him. I had good times at Matchroom. I can't complain when but I don't ever feel like I was valued, and that's why I didn't stay. I don't ever feel like I was ever going to be the A side boxer, so that's why I left, because
Okay.
I was always going to be the opponent. I was never going to be, I don't think I was ever going to be pushed forward as number one, as in I was his first point of call, not his first point of call, but like I'd always play second fiddle to somebody. I was always going to be Terry's opponent. I was always going to be Katie's opponent. I was, you know what I mean? I was never going to be,
Okay.
they're going to be hers, or you know what I mean? I
Okay.
always feel like I was always there to be beaten by somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. So forever in your heart, you felt you're always going to be the B side, no matter what. You're always going to be
Yeah,
the
no
B side,
matter what, I
underdog.
was always going to be. It wasn't my interest that was at the forefront. It was always like, and I get it, because that's what business is, and you know, Katie was a champion, and Teddy's not now, but she was. So I do get it. I'm not disillusioned, but now I'm not. Now I'm
From
moving
where you
on.
started, where you're at now, where do you think what's your views on the state of female boxing and how it's grown, especially with Eddie, pushing hard with Katie Taylor and Terry Harper. Are you very happy with the way things are going in terms of the growth of female boxing in general? Or
If you speak to the likes of Jane Couch, we've come a long way. We've, and even in the short time that I've been involved in professional boxing, we've come a long way. But we have still got a long way to go.
yeah, definitely,
Um,
definitely,
um,
absolutely.
and once the Olympians keep turning over and turning, and that cycle continues, we will have just as much depth in the sport as the men do, and that's when I think we'll see, you know, bigger things happening. But at the moment, we're at a pivotal point. So as long as we can keep that wave going and it's going positively, and people still want to watch, and the fights are still entertaining, and it's got the best versus the best, then it'll keep growing.
What do you think it would take to create like the first, in my opinion, the first female superstar? I think there's stars in female boxing. I don't think there's any superstars yet. Katie Taylor is a star, yes, but
I think
maybe
Katie
only in the
Taylor.
UK.
I think she for me would be a superstar. I think for a lot of people, Clarissa would be there, but people don't like that she's very opinionated and outspoken, and you know, people don't always like that. You know, but she's herself, and you have to take her hat off to staying true to who she is. She's not changing for nobody, and it's probably cost her, sponsorships and whatever else. But at the end of the day, accolades speak for themselves.
Oh,
She
yeah. So
doesn't have to.
what's your opinion about Ebony Bridges and her marketing? Her ways of promoting herself.
I think she's very smart, if I'm honest. It's not the way I would promote myself, but that doesn't mean to say that it's wrong. Like, you have to do what's best for you. And for a girl who maybe a year or two ago nobody knew, now most people involved in boxing know who she is, and she's done that all herself. Her management team hasn't done it. Nobody else has done it bar
Yeah,
her.
definitely. She's a great at branding herself. Know how to brand herself well, especially on social media.
Men have these different, you have the trash talkers, Muhammad Ali. You have, outspoken people like Muhammad Ali. You have your
You knock out artists like Canals and your Anthony Joshua.
you have your KO specialists. You have your Floyd Mayweather was Pretty Boy Floyd before he was Money Mayweather, and your Ryan Garcia's, who was is all everyone's always on about how pretty he is and good looking, and then a female does that, and it's like, oh, she shouldn't be doing that. Like, we have them different characters in female boxing too.
Yeah, I had a conversation with one of my friends the other day. The thing about marketing in general is sex sells. It might be harsh or cruel, but sex sells. Sex always sells. Part of the reason why Josh is successful is he's a handsome man. He's good looking. He talks well. The ladies love him. Hence why he's a pay-per-view star. He's always been like that. Muhammad Ali was a sex symbol. Sugar Ray Leonard was a sex symbol. Jack Dempsey's a sex symbol. Sex sells. It's just human nature. All the eye candy.
So, she's done really well. Like I say, it's probably not the way I'd market myself, but she's just as known as me now, and we haven't gone down the same route. So that's off to her.
Arguably, Ebony Bridges is probably the biggest star, maybe outside Kate Taylor or Shields, and she hasn't won a world title. A lot of people probably know more, especially social media, and she hasn't won a world title. She's come a long way.
And she's done it all herself. So, like, you've got to respect that,
Definitely.
regardless of, everyone's hustle is a little bit different, and you've got to respect this.
How did yours deal with boxing come along, Sky? Because you signed with boxing, aren't you? You're on the Sky platform. How did that deal come about?
It was just, my management company had spoken to. Obviously, I'd reached out. They had reached out to my management company, as I was in talks with him, and a Matchroom, and their deal was better, and that's simply what it is. And everyone's like, "Oh, you're making it hard for yourself, and you're doing this." Like, obviously, when you go and sit down and you've got two companies who want to sign you, battling an offer against each other, you're going to say, right, this is what's being offered. Are you going to better it? And Matchroom were aware of, what was what in the region of what was being offered, and could they better it? And they did increase what they was offering, but it wasn't still nowhere near enough.
Okay.
And Sky was offering also the added bonus of being, a pundit as well. And Matchroom were aware of that, and like half-heartedly offered me something to do with the zone, but it just wasn't good enough.
Yeah. By the way, you're an excellent, Sky commentator. You definitely know your boxing, and I think, and honestly, after boxing, after you retire and call it day, honestly, Natasha, you should be a full-time, journalist or broadcaster, because you make a good job at it, and I wish you definitely pursue it further.
Cheers, thank you. That's the plan. But
have you thought about opening your own YouTube channel? Because I think you've got a personality as well. You can talk well as well. So have you thought about opening your own YouTube channel, maybe your own podcaster once boxing is
well, as you would know, it's like it's not easy. I think, in lockdown as well, a lot of people started and new channels because there was nothing to do, and people wanted something to do and something to listen to,
Absolutely.
and I think we needed a little bit of inspiration and motivation. But you know, you see the likes of like your IFLs and whoever, and you think that happens overnight, and it
No, it
doesn't.
takes years.
It takes a long time. I think they celebrated their 10-year anniversary, did they, not long ago, or so. They celebrated a big milestone, but it takes a long time, and I don't, you know, I can't dedicate that much time to something at the minute. I've got just too much on.
Absolutely. Either way, I definitely, I think you're definitely after boxing. Honestly, Tasha, you should be definitely in boxing journalism. That's your future. Whether you be, a broadcaster or a journalist or a YouTuber, I definitely you have a good career in boxing media. I think you got the personality for it, definitely.
Yeah, hopefully, like the plan is with Sky that they develop that out in me. So fingers crossed, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, because I've seen other people. Do you know Adi Alopadido? He works for the Zone.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah, I'm so happy for him because he started he started from scratch. Basically, he was doing he was a YouTuber like myself, and it took him like almost 10 years to get where he's at now because now he works for the Zone. He's got his own show on Talksport because you prove that if you're hard working, you don't give up. You can
yeah,
make your dreams reality.
yeah, 100%. I do believe in that. But like I said, like you just said there, it took them 10 years. People just think, oh, these people pop up and it's overnight success. It's not. It's taken a long time for people to do that. And it takes, yeah, it's it's
So
hard. It's hard.
since 2020 is upon us now, what's your have you got a fight date set up? I couldn't start boxing banned now till February. Have you got like a fight plan now or like a tune-up fight?
I do have plans. Hopefully, I can get on one of the big shows. Either the Cattrall Taylor, or the Taylor
Okay.
Cattrall, I should say, or Carnbrook. Um, what else is the? I think the Williams Eubank will be too soon, but there's a lot of big shows coming up, and I want to be able to be on one of them.
Speaking about Cannon Brook, what's your predictions? Who wins in your opinion? What's your take on the whole Cannon
Carnbrook.
Brook?
God.
It's 10 years too late. They're both past it, but it's still gonna be a cracker
No,
nonetheless.
but you know what? If they can get each other up, if there's one fight that they can get up for, it's the one against each other.
Yeah.
Like I do believe that it is obviously, and I think I don't think anyone is has suggested that this is them at their best, or that I do, everyone is kind of agreed that this is a fight that maybe should have happened, 5, 6, 7 years ago. But we all still will tune in because
Yeah, absolutely.
everyone
Because
wants to
we all
see
love a
it.
British dark rivalry. We all love,
We do, yeah,
Scott
and
Scholes,
especially one where there's
Ben
a little bit
Eubank.
of,
We love our,
meat
domestic
between it.
disputes.
They all hate each other, so um, it's tough. It's a tough. I think if Cal lands, Cal wins, but I also think if Ami is anywhere close to the Amir Khan,
Of old.
that has been, that Cal doesn't get anywhere near him. So
My opinion, the outcome of the fight depends on how much Brook's got left in the tank. If Brook can somehow make 159 comfortably without any issues, he knocks Khan out. If not, then maybe Khan maybe stops him late. It all depends on what Brook's got left in the tank.
I think if it's a stoppage, it'll probably come from Brook. But at the same time, like I think Khan has got the ability to make it very, very easy. Yeah, for me, it all is down to Khan and which Khan turns up. Whether he's going to want to stand there and trade with Brook, or whether he's just going to outbox him because he's got the ability to hit and not be hit throughout the whole fight.
Absolutely, absolutely. I saw one of your opinions on other topics. Fury versus White, does it happen? And if it happens, does White have a chance?
Fury versus White.
Does it happen? Because there's a lot of issues, obviously, with arbitration, the first bid, 80-20
I
split.
get why it wouldn't happen because I presume, Dillian would be really upset with the 80-20 split. That's supposedly what it is. And it's kind of, I think he was offered a fight or the fight a long time ago for so much money and turned it down, and it was a lot more than he would have got now. So I think it's kind of kicking the teeth for Dilly, and I understand his frustration and I understand why he would turn it down after feeling undervalued and not being paid what he believes he should. But yeah, God, I don't know. I don't know if it happens. I understand. I understand as an athlete why it wouldn't happen, because no one wants to be underpaid.
In my opinion, I think Fury fights White, maybe not next, but I think it will happen sometime in the year. And I think White will take it based on the fact that this is the only opportunity he has to fight for a world title, because it's going to be a tough road to get a world title opportunity. Because
Yeah,
Usyk
I
tied up
don't
with
think.
Joshua, and the winner will fight Fury for the undisputed. So it
Yeah,
might have to
I
win
don't
the
think.
year, 2 years.
I'm under no illusion that Fury doesn't want to fight Fury. I'll fight anyone. I keep betting against him, and he keeps proving me wrong.
Yeah, it does.
So I'll never bet against him again. So yeah, I don't really like Fury will fight anywhere and anyone. I think he's proved that.
Do you think Fury is the best heavyweight we have, or do you think Usyk's the best heavyweight?
Sorry.
Yeah, I was say, do you think Fury is the best heavyweight at the moment, or I think Usyk is? Who's the best heavyweight right now? In your
No,
opinion?
you can't say. You can't say I don't think Usyk is yet, but for me it's Fury. Once he beat Wilder, it was Fury. Usyk has got the potential to cause anybody problems, but I don't think he beats Fury.
Speaking about Usyk, Joshua rematch, as it stands, do you think AJ can beat him, or do you think AJ is too mentally fragile right now with the whole situation
No,
with
I don't
cheating?
think he's mentally fragile. I don't think he can afford to lose, and I don't mean that as in like money wise or whatever. I just, for AJ, he can't be beat. He can't be beat again. And especially not the way it happened last time. People barely give him a round, like 2 rounds, 3 rounds at a push. Last time he can't have that. He can't. That can't happen again. Anything remotely similar can happen. If it comes, split decision or whatever, maybe justifiable, but I don't think he can be beat like that again. And no, we're not. You definitely won't want to be beat like that again.
Should Is he making the right decision of leaving Rob McCracken to find a new trainer, or do you reckon Rob McCracken is the guy to help him beat Usyk?
I'm not sure. Rob's a really good trainer, but at the same time, there was a lot of voices in that corner. There was a lot of voices in that camp.
Yeah, too many chefs in the kitchen, definitely.
Exactly. You need one voice that you go back and you get your instructions from, and you 100% believe, trust, and whatever they say. That's the way forward, and you have to have that. That's one thing about Joe. If I'm down, I think you can hear him in the Terry Harper fight saying, right, you're a round down, 2 rounds down, you're a round up. You can hear him say that, and I 100% believe that that's what he's saying is right. So you have to have that to come back to, and you have to trust that what the instructions they're giving you are right. You can't be saying someone shouting great job, and then someone saying you need to work, and then someone saying you got to put the pressure on, someone saying something. That's not going to work, because that's too many different people giving you too many different instructions. So one voice is what you need.
And AJ has knocked him out. In my opinion, the only way AJ beats Usyk is by knockout. He has to knock him out cold or stop him. He can't
Possibly.
box him.
He's definitely got the ability to be able to do it. There was, it couldn't have been only me that was like, just throw it, just throw it, just throw it. It just seemed like it was very, very hesitant to even. I can't even remember the amount of backhands thrown, but there wasn't very many. And I was like, just throw it, just let it go, just throw it. And for it was frustrating for me to watch. So I don't think. I think this time there's going to be no hesitation. There has to be none. He just has to go for it, because if you lose and you give everything, then people can accept that. But if you lose just by and people don't believe that you were giving your best effort, then people can't accept that. You know what I mean?
Okay, absolutely. Women
Britain
has it
loves
that is trainers. It could be either.
someone who gives it their all. That's what British people love. Whether you're a winner or we love Frank Bruno because he wore his heart on his sleeve and he gave it. Nigel Benn the same, give it 100% every time. So you can accept when people lose when they're like that. But it was obviously a little bit frustrating for people to think that that wasn't the Joshua we'd seen before.
Absolutely.
He wasn't himself.
We come to trainers, and rumor has it could be either Ronnie Shields or Robert Garcia. Do you reckon those are trainers that will do, Joshua justice in the rematch, or?
Only time will tell. Only time will tell. There's lots of great trainers, and I'm pretty sure there's not one trainer in the world who will turn him Joshua down. So, he's got the pick of the litter, and he can do what he wants with whoever he wants. And I think every trainer will add something.
Yeah, absolutely. We shall find out. Hopefully, it happens in April. Hopefully, it happens in the UK. We shall see, though. We shall see. In regards to apparently Canelo Alvarez is fighting Jamal Charlo. You think that's a good fight?
Yeah, I think both of them are really good. The Charlo brothers. And I don't think it's going to be an easy fight.
I'm just thinking now. What made Canelo change his mind? Because Richie was meant to fight Logan McCarthy, the cruiserweight champion. Is it BC champion, cruiserweight champion? But now he's fighting a PBC fighter. What do you think Canelo changed his mind because of Don King situation and McCarthy stuck against that other guy in cruiserweight? What do you
I
think?
have no idea. I don't. If you listen to the rumors and listen to everything in boxing, then from my own experience, I just don't get involved. Just don't get involved, because everyone's got an opinion on something, and it's come from this source and it's come from that source, and it's never come from anywhere apart from people jangling. So I don't really get involved. I don't really know. I haven't heard anything, so it's got nothing to do with me. So I don't know. I'll just be, whenever Canelo fights or whoever he fights, is always going to be a good fight to watch.
He does box office numbers. So now Canelo fights those event, we all tune in regardless who he fights. He's one of those guys.
So,
He's a global superstar.
exactly. So I don't even get involved in all the behind the scenes rumors and stuff.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Tasha. It's been a pleasure speaking to you today. Is there anything you can tell us to the fans about your any news, any any things we expect? You doing any shows or?
No, hopefully I can do some of the bigger ones that I'm not on this year. So if I'm not on the Williams Eubank, I'd love to be on that commentary team. I'd love to be on, the Carnbrook. I'd love to be on any of any of them, Taylor, Cattrall. So if I'm not on them, hopefully I'll be working them. That's all.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely look forward to hearing from you. Definitely, Tasha. Because definitely this is a year we need to see you in action again. We definitely, hopefully, you get that world title
It's the
eventually.
year I need to be a champion. That's it. The year of the champion. That's what this year's called.
Absolutely, Natasha. Anyway, thanks guys for watching my interview with the great Natasha Jonas. Take care, guys. Till next time. Take care, Tasha.
Cheers. Thanks for having me today.
Bye.
See you.